The 2020 starts with a bang in the Tyrrell's Premier 15s. England top league for women's rugby. It's round 11 and we're at Sixways Stadium in Worcester, the home of the 2013 league champions Worcester Warriors, as they host Richmond Women, two clubs who find themselves at the wrong end of the table and desperate to start the new decade with a win and valuable league points. I'm Johnny Howard and I'm joined in the commentary box by Olympian and World Cup winner Heather Fisher. A little bit behind time, so let's get straight to the runners and riders for today's game. First up, Worcester Warriors. It shouldn't be underestimated how far this young side has come over the last few months. The last outing, there may have been a loss to Harlequins, by so many positives in there. And there are four changes to that side. Welsh captain Sinead Harris bolsters the back row wearing 8 alongside Sarah Monnier. And on the blind side, who has made that shirt her own, some front row with World Cup winner Laura Keats and 50 capper Caris Phillips. No Brooke Bradley, so Taz Bricknell, 7 in the last outing, slots in at scrum half. Sarah Nicholas, impressive start to the new club, controlled matters at 10. And will try to get the ball in the hands of Lydia Thompson's hands. On to Richmond. Mike Panaho makes this selection some 4 weeks after his side last played due to their game against champion Saracens falling foul to the weather. It's a new year and a new decade and new positions for some of these Richmond players. Lindsay Mayo and Telly Talapo swap the front row and second row for the wing and inside centre respectively. Exciting scrum half Polly Roberts will have the controlling influence of uber-experienced Abby Chamberlain outside her. And up front, Steph Evans gets a starting berth on the tight head, with Ro Burfield, the all-action captain, in behind her. No Grace Moore, Zoe Barber joins Libby Povey in that back five. Plenty of impacts to come from the benches. England international Megan Goddard and Vicky Foxwell, who impresses with every game she plays. For the visitors, teenage Maya Dort and back from injury, Sophia Macaulay-Cave. Well, earlier on I caught up with both of the head coaches, Mike Panaho and Joe Yap. Mike, virtually a month since you last played. Is that a help or hindrance coming into today's game?
I think part of it can help us. We can really look back at our specifics and have a look at how we can really structure our plays and things like that. Not that we want to structure them too much because we want to allow the players to play, but it just gives us an opportunity to refresh ourselves too. A little bit of a break does help us in some ways. So yeah, looking forward to it.
The one solitary victory, can't get away from that, has been against Worcester. What did you get right in October that you need to get right today to have the same result?
I think the key for us is really to target the gain line and look for those offloads that we did against Worcester back in October. I think that's pretty important that, as soon as we get in behind them, that we keep playing, we play with those tempos, and the 9s and the 10s manage the game and manage the players around them. But again, ultimately it comes down to work rate, doesn't it? And with the weather the way it is purely going to be potentially up the jumper stuff, but with that work rate off the ball, which is going to be important today for us.
It's a big day for Worcester, double header here with the men's and what have you. Well, here from Joe Yap, let's say a little bit behind the 8 ball with the men's game happening here. Big day at Worcester with a double header. So a few logistical issues. We're in a brand new shed up right on top of the stand, though. Heather Fisher, it certainly smells nice. It's been a tremendous view as well as Worcester have kicked off and Richmond in a very bright red and orange yellow strip. Hello to you, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too, Johnny. Are you okay?
Very well, very well.
I quite like this shed. Although getting to this shed was a bit like the SAS.
It was, wasn't it? Sort of Krypton factor. You'd be fine in the SAS. I, on the other hand, more SOS. Richmond with that early penalty. And Abby Chamberlain playing, you've played with down the years, very controlling influence for this young Richmond side.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting game, really, because obviously we're still looking to try and find their feet, really. Very, very young and experienced squad. Richmond showing slightly more experience, especially, between the 9 and the 10 channel. But it's going to be interesting just because both teams are trying to find form.
Absolutely, the long break, both Panaho head coach and director of rugby, Joe, spoke to them both yesterday, saying they were pleased with the gap. It's a tough start to the season. We're pleased to have had the break over the Christmas period. Here's Abby Chamberlain again. Taz Bricknell. Almost the intercept from Metcalf Jones, the hooker. Saying of those team lists, interesting to see how some of these players match up today. Some players in some new positions. This is Taz Bricknell. That's straight across field into the hands of Lindsay Mayo. USA player on that wing for the first time. She's been playing most of the season at prop. You can see there she's devastating an open play with ball in hand.
Yeah, she just showed great pace, didn't she? It was a great catch just from that kick from Worcester. But yeah, to be able to switch positions from prop to go then to a wing, and the statistics around that's pretty cool, isn't it?
It was hard enough in sevens, let alone 15s.
Couldn't get my words out. My mouth feels like it's gone cold, Johnny. Is that normal up here?
Yep. It is it's a cold commentary box, and just a bit of drizzly rain as well. Wasn't particularly forecast, but that is going to affect these players. Mike Tanner was saying before the game to me, probably be more at the jumper stuff, and with direct runners like Mayo and Hanny Tuoluffa, who's been playing in the second row. She's got a couple of brilliant tries though. At inside centre, just the kind of players to just get over that gain line. It's going to be one of those nights, isn't it? Who wins the battle of the gain line?
Yeah, to be fair, John, I think Worcester just showing they can shift that ball to the outside. For me that was the right decision. It was just poor execution, but the precision is there, and just about getting those early hands up and going in towards that ball as opposed to drifting out.
There we go. The mouth's working now. You're fine.
I'm having to slow down my words so they come out properly.
What you mean? It was a race and what have you to get the show on air, but we are there on the Facebook pages, YouTube channels of England Rugby, and Sky Sports joined us today as well. It's broadcast partner of the RFU, England Rugby. Libby Povic to that heart of the Worcester defence. Polly Robertson is straight through Richmond. Early score in the new year.
Yeah, that was nicely done, wasn't it? That was a nice direct line there taken off the back of the scrum, nice directness, and just be able to see that pass through the hands. We talk about being able to see that vision of seeing that pass and straight into the hands. One that I feel like Worcester should have defended. They were up there, the positions are right, their spaces are right, but again, we just got to get those contacts and we've got to get those shoulders warm for the new year, Johnny.
Certainly Richard, who's started the brighter. An easy enough conversion as well. 7-point lead for Richmond, the away side. The only victory that has come their way so far in this Tyrrell's Premier 15 season was against Worcester back in October. Had a new person in charge, Royston Davis, back then. Joe Yap has taken charge. Just Wooden with a conversion. Take Richmond up to the 7 points. That'll be frustrating for Mike Banaho. You score a try, you've started the game really bright, you don't deal with the restart, third set piece.
Yeah, they always say, don't they, when you score a try and then that 1 minute where you just that switch off You kind of think your job's done, and then you go again, and you're not quite switched on for that second job. But yeah, slightly frustrating in terms of the coaches. But for me, I really want to see Worcester just bounce back. Like, we're really early into the game in the first couple of minutes. It's really important when you've got young players that keep those heads up and they see the opportunities that are coming, not the fact they're a score down.
Penalty though to Richmond. They can clear their lines. It just relieves the pressure somewhat for Abby Chamberlain. England international, brings a huge amount of control. Ex-Sevens captain as well, of course. One of the first professionals to play the game, Abby Chamberlain. Been at Richmond a long time now.
I was about to say I played alongside her, but that makes you sound really old.
No comment. Yeah, she was whipping that pass out. Trying to play with some width. There's a freedom which way the Richmond play the game. Mike Panner is one of those coaches who over coaches. But it's Worcester with possession now, clattering into contact. And Bricknell arrives. Plenty of positives they took from the Harlequins' loss in the last meeting. As Bricknell was wearing 7 that day. Has played some 9 before. There is the 7 though. Lockhart just can't get control of that ball. Richmond fall down it. So Burnfield, the all-action captain who always leads with her actions.
Yeah, she's a great player. She's got some great experience behind, doesn't she, from England? Always does that dirty work, that unseen work.
100% used to that. Grew up on a farm. One of a triplet. They all play rugby. They're a tough side to play against, wouldn't it?
Wouldn't it? Messy.
Yeah, the family business is farming down in Hampshire. 6 pints of milk a day, apparently, she had when she was growing up. She puts her strength down to.
Yeah, I totally believe in milk. I love milk. I like a bit of oat milk these days, actually, Johnny.
If we move away from your fridge chat to the game.
Entertaining myself, aren't I?
It's important for Worcester here. Consider that early try, and Sarah Nicholas came in from Gloucester, the England under-20s player. 16 points so far this season. Trying a couple of conversions against Loughborough. She has to chip away at that lead. She's pulled it, yeah, she snatched at it. The moment it left her boot, you knew that wasn't in the right direction. It remains 7-0 to Richmond. Certainly both sides very fired up after the Christmas and New Year break. Very physical out there. That looks slightly high. We haven't mentioned her yet, have we? The lady blowing the whistle in the middle there. Latoya Mason, World Cup winner in 2014. Came off the bench at the Stade Jean-Bouin for Mo Hunt. She is definitely someone you know with and played with.
Yeah, I'm keeping quiet again because, again, it's showing my age, isn't it?
No, she's still out there doing it, as you are.
I even played with Yappy. That's crazy, isn't it?
Jo Yapp, the director of rugby here at Worcester. Well, she played very late in her years.
Mm. Yeah, she did. But actually, she's still in really good form. To be fair, her and Daisy Sude were both very good form for the Sevens. And fortunate enough to play alongside them and learn a lot from them. So it's great to see here Yappy as director, doing what she's doing here.
He's got a lot of the foundations right. So there, he's certainly been working on this set piece area. Something she identified to me in the pre-match interview. Get the set piece right tonight. It's a tremendous drive, it really is. 5 metres out now. Somehow Richmond have stopped it. Great work from both sides. Laura Kappa's right in the middle there. Another great servant to the Richmond club, and they got their hands on the ball, Richmond. Worcester took it in. Richmond have held it up, put into the scrum to Richmond.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a shame, isn't it? You can see Worcester putting their full efforts into that maul, and like Jo Yap said earlier, you know, in her words, that they want to be winning their set pieces, and you know, you're 10 metres away from your try line. You know, you want to be able to stay tight and take those moments towards to be able to turn those moments into points. So Worcester would not be very happy with that, but you know, let's see what's to come.
I already mentioned two young sides. So yeah, fully used to coaching younger players. England under-20 coach, of course. University coaching. University of Exeter. Won the University Championship a couple of times. Bricknell's in there, right in the side. She was doing her open side work, the scrum half, but she was very much from the side of that ruck. Comes the side of the boot from Abby Chamberlain. It's a windscreen wiper style to her kick. We've not had too much to cheer about so far. A few have stayed, a few of the boxes, corporate boxes around here at Sixways. Of course, Worcester recorded the biggest crowd so far this season for a Tyrrell's Premier 15s game against Bristol. Hard-fought victory it was that day. They're raising awareness for sepsis. Also been doing some great work today as well. Going round during that men's game with a bucket. Getting some donations to send out to Australia. Fair play to them for that. Lucy Lockhart, the open side, leading that charge, the Australian. Matter that's very close to our hearts. All our thoughts and wishes go out to everybody in Australia. Caris Cox just cut a nice line and a strong fend as well. Laffin. And it's Lydia Thompson. Miss Worcester Warriors, isn't she?
She's Worcester through and through, Johnny. Yes, she is. Great player, great dynamic player. Very instinctive, you know, knows how to work the pitch, knows how to work herself, and really feeds herself well into this Worcester side.
Worldie of a finisher. See that score she got against Harlequins just before Christmas. Unbelievable finish.
Yeah, she's scored some awesome tries in her career so far, and I'm sure there's so much more to come of her.
Well, against France in the autumn as well. He did make it to the 2014 World Cup final with a hamstring injury after a couple of the pool stage games, Spain and Samoa. Worcester playing with some rhythm now. Phillips, Lockhart, got numbers here. Surely Laffin goes back inside to Caris Phillips, the Wales captain. With a 50th cap against Spain back in the autumn. Valerian. Sinead Harris sharing the captaincy with Phillips, and she's over. It was coming, wasn't it, from Worcester?
Yeah, Johnny, you can see exactly what it means to them. It was a great team try, you know, from start to finish. You saw the energy build. You saw the fact that players, you know, noticed those 2v1s, they noticed the short side runners. And what was really good by the winger here, the open side winger here, was that she noticed it was just slightly isolated. She kept the ball alive, put it back into the props' hands, took it forward, and just having that initiative to know when to carry, when to take it in, and when to let that loose ball looser to get, you know, to get to where it needs to get to was really good. So a great team try.
Playing with some real confidence, and I suppose there's one way to describe their seasons, these two so far, it has been that lack of confidence. Young sides. Look at Richmond, the way that Richmond started the season, Harlequins and then Saracens.
Yeah, there's a real difference in the league, isn't there? You've got, the likes of Quins, you've got Sarrows, who have really got some great experienced players. And there is a divide at the moment between the experience who's coming through, the unexperienced versus the experienced players. And it is just getting that growth and confidence. But that comes with time, it comes with wins, it comes with successes, it comes with winning the processes. And the more and more you do that, the more successful you become, the more confident you become. So it is a vicious circle, isn't it?
Certainly is. A better kick from Nicholas. Here she is though, Sinead Harris. Look at that, great geography, great power, and then the stretch out.
Yeah, she would know how important those points are to Worcester, so it was a great just stretch over that line.
Now 58 caps to her name. Captain against the Barbarians, Scotland and Ireland in Wales' very busy autumn campaign. I feel a bit of confidence has been injected into Worcester since that score. Latoya Mason goes back for the penalty, no advantage coming. Really, since that Fiona McIntosh try from Richmond in the opening, 90 seconds, it's been all Worcester.
It literally has been. It's like they've picked it up, it's like they've noticed where they are on the pitch and they've really gone for it.
Found touchdown. Richmond will have possession. Just that solitary victory for Mike Panaho's men. That game against Saracens just before Christmas was postponed due to the weather. Now Steph Evans, there are 4 changes in this Richmond side since the game against Worcester that they lost 36 points to 5. That second half they held on to the ball and really encouraged the way that they played. Chamberlain needs to find grass here. Maybe for the single bounce, and then it's Vicky Lafford. She's got some wheels. He's back inside as well. Lydia Thompson is just on her shoulder. Yeah, you're grimacing. You felt the same as I did. Yeah,
because you feel like you're slightly isolated, so you feel like you need to stretch that ball away, but actually just by presenting that ball nice and long, she probably could have secured it, but yeah, she did well to go on the outside and back herself, Johnny.
Megan Farley. Important little run from her.
That's a great line.
Running some nice lines, aren't they, Worcester? Both these sides look like a training break. The whole day together last Saturday, Worcester. Which were a couple of training sessions themselves. Harris stay strong in the contact. Contact with Abby Chamberlain, Britnell, Nicholas now. Lockhart, the open side, spinning and twisting the Australian. So rugby league for Australia, handball as well. Nicholas, Farley just couldn't get the ball to Jade Sheckles, and she is a powerful runner.
Yeah, it was a great string of play put together then by Worcester, wasn't it? Great string of play. And even though, it didn't go to hands at the very end, they can see the space, they're notifying the space, and they can see what they need to do, which is great vision.
They're playing some pace as well, aren't they? Some rhythm and some tempo, Worcester. A few of the Richmond players just walking around with early into this game. Well, just dropped into the second quarter.
Yeah, no, I feel like Worcester are really trying to play. I think, you can see that they're running with the conviction. They're running those lines off each other. It doesn't feel like they've got loads of structure, which I quite like to see. They're just playing the space and they're trying to keep that ball alive. For me, moving into the second half and the last part of this part here, if that makes sense what I just said, that last part. Just moving forward, just get into that ball carry a little bit quicker, just because Richmond just so quick over the ball.
They were champions back in the 2012-2013 season, Worcester. Some greats here there, weren't there? Rocky Clark, the rock star. And part of the Saracens' victory today. If you don't want to know the results, then I've only seen a couple of them. Saracens beat Loughborough though.
31, was it 31, 39, 38?
Yeah, 8 points. Rachel Burford on a particular podcast this week predicted a Loughborough victory. She owes me a cup of tea.
Is that all, a cup of tea?
She wouldn't bet anymore. Bet she wouldn't even bet that.
She's tight out, Rachel.
Midway, isn't she? And Richmond, of course, a very, very fine history in women's club rugby through the years. Not the last couple of years, but won 9 Premiership titles. 5 between 2010 and 2016. 3 years running, 2010, 2012. And the last time they were champions was 2016 in their first inaugural final at the Stoop. And he beat Saracens. Emma Croker, I seem to remember having an absolute stormer of a game that day. Abby Chamberlain played. And since then, suffered somewhat.
I was about to say you've got a great memory. Great memory. But yeah, to be honest, Worcester have, because you've got your players coming through, you've had your experience, hang their boots up, and some have gone into like coaching and refereeing like Toya, but that young generation just need to push on through, and the next few years will be exciting in the Premiership.
I do remember Emma Croker having a great coach. She's player of the match. I was there.
But your favourites?
Not the slightest. She's player of the match. Sue Day picked her out as player of the match. Now I'm old. See, we've both been around.
Yeah, I can't comment because I can't comment.
But of course, we are coming to the end of this Tyrrell's Premier first cycle, and that word relegation inverted commas. The teams are going to be invited, top 6. Automatically invited back, but it won't just be about playing, it'll be off-field stuff as well. The clubs are hitting all the right targets in terms of support and what have you for the players, medical support staff, that kind of stuff, and it's very much been the focus of Joe Yap over the last couple of months. Forward pass, it's gone down for Richmond. Had a quick word with Latoya Mason before the game. Little catch up. Are you enjoying the transition? She said, yeah, it's great. Well, you're always talking anyway as a scrum half, aren't you? So
they talk so much, don't they? They actually do. And they enjoy a cup of tea.
That's a hobnob. Half time. Plain, obviously, athletes. Other varieties are available. Burnfield doing what she does best, just doing the simple nuts and bolts, but just doing them exceptionally well. Steph Evans. And he's from Ruggett RFC, sponsor of the Women's Rugby Show. Now was to get a penalty, and they're annoyed, weren't they? Anika Godwin right in there. She's so powerful. That trunk area gets over the ball. Technically a very good player, so Laura Keats told me this week. That's high praise coming from Laura Keats, one of the best technical scrummagers around.
She's the fussiest prop I actually know. Actually, Clark's probably up there, Rocky Clark, but yeah, great. Technically, in terms of scrummaging, spot on. So if she's saying that about somebody else, then it's pretty good stuff.
When did you get your doctorate in scrummaging? 7 scrummaging.
I can't remember, it was so long ago. Someone's saying 7 do not scrummage, but I promise you I have scrum neck on the 2nd day and 3rd day of tournaments, Johnny.
Not nice, is it?
It's horrible, actually. Your body can feel so fresh that you can't pick your head up.
Karis Phillips, such an accurate line-out thrower. We've got an indoor training facility here at Worcester. We were just doing the interviews. There's a basketball net, which she threw one from about 30-40 yards, didn't she? Straight through the hoop. It was incredible.
Straight in.
Worcester attacking again, showing some width, some endeavour here. Great purpose as well. Bricknell. Nicholas firing into Lockhart again. Those three combining very well. Lockhart very happy to have ball in hand. Harries, yeah, that was right option, wasn't it? Oh, she powers through! Harries with her second.
That was an absolutely great finish by Harris, wasn't it? Brilliant finish, great eye for the gap. Saw that defender just overchase slightly and go past and then straight through the gap, accelerated through. It's a great awareness.
You could see that gap opening up, couldn't you? You felt, go on, then step off the left, and she did. And she powered through the Welsh international. And they're good for that lead as well, Worcester.
Yeah, they're looking really sharp, to be honest. You know, in attack, they're moving that ball. Their pass from 9 to 10 is really, really spot on at the moment. They've got great width. They're staying really straight on their passes. They're going towards the ball. They're staying really honest, though, with the attack. And it's just allowing that, you know, at the moment, Richmond is just drifting off slightly. And they can't afford to drift off. But Worcester are looking really sharp on attack.
As you would expect from a Joe Yapp side. Mike Hill also works for the academy. He's doing some great work with the forwards. Sean Moore as well, the former Bristol Welsh scrum half, one of the league coaches. Benny Williams deserves a mention as well. Now head of women's development. Busy lady. Well, that's a much better strike. Often tell with the sound, can't you? Sarah Nicholas, much better strike as the lights keep coming on and off here. Somebody at Sixways needs to find an extra 50p just to pop into the meter. Perhaps Colin Goldring and Jim McCrory, the new owners here at Worcester. Very progressive men, beginning to move this club on. Men and women's side now totally integrated, all areas of the club very much available for men and women now. Great restart take from Laura Keats, held so firm, gave the offload, and she's clearing the ruck as well, and they got the penalty. Nicholas now with much more confidence. Shekels was thumped in the tackle. Big hit from Lindsay Mayo. We're going to touch to Worcester.
They seem very calm, don't they, Worcester? Very calm and in control. I feel like they know what they're trying to do. They know where they want to play, and they're taking it to those spaces where they want to play. They're forcing Richmond to make those decisions on them.
Again, after the start as well that the Richmond made, come back in and just settle things down. Come to the commentator's curse, like Karis Phillips. Georgia Rowland, Welsh international, dual international, isn't it? Cabia.
It's a great steal.
Worcester kind of steal that ball. Karis Phillips at the line out, but they get a penalty again. Worcester winning that battle of the breakdown. With the scrum here, tying the defenders. Worcester feel they're strong in this area, and why would you not have confidence when you have a front row of Gondwy, Karis Phillips and Laura Keats.
Totally agree with you there, Johnny. And, and the fact that then you can release quick ball then to your wingers, let them loose, let them have a run, stretch the defence.
And you've got Lindsay Mayo, first game in the back line, up against Lydia Thompson. May well be where this ball is going. Harry's explosive off the base, manages to get that ball away. Right idea, the execution just wasn't quite right, but they're going to make something of this. Shermer down on that ball, needed to as well, needed to secure it. Flat pass, just nobody there laughing. Brilliant! Shackles cuts back inside wisely. Phillips, almost too hard a line from Gondwy.
Yeah, nice idea. Well stayed in by the winger there, but nice idea. Great hard lines. When you've got a rush defence, Richmond are trying to put pressure on, but they're almost leaving doglegs because of it. So you take your eye off that ball for that split second. We've all been there, Johnny. You take your eye off for a split second, it goes out in your hands. You're like, what did I just do? They're just keeping your ball in hand. It was a great hard line. But now they're playing in the 22. I hope they can put a lot of defence on.
It's such an important part, isn't it? The mental side. See Worcester here, another huge drive. Povey comes away. Mayer. Olalafa. It was in fact going through the second row. They've knocked it on Worcester. And look at that net gain for Richmond. From a scrum that was going backwards, that is some gain from this lady. Haley Tualafa. Samoan heritage from the USA. First game at centre from lock, former basketball player. But reads the game very well. Played plenty of sevens herself. Just saw the space and kicked that ball into it. Forced the mistake. Chamberlain just pops it up for Mayo. They are trying to use those big runners, aren't they? Povey somehow got it out of her hands. Roberts just waiting for the ball. Little Polly Roberts, feisty scrum half, the former Hove player. They get the penalty and go to touch, but you're not trying to drill that right into the corner to get 5 metres out.
You've just said what I was thinking. So I'm looking out my window here in the shed thinking,
like twins, aren't
I feel like that was a bit laissez-faire attitude from Richmond. I feel like, it's 12-7 in the favour of Worcester. Drill it straight over, get some points on the board. Yeah.
Get into that 5 metre area.
Yeah, I feel like you
half time.
Yeah, I feel like that was a missed opportunity. I feel like that was a really laid back attitude, if there's such a thing as to a touchline.
It was Abby Chamberlain who went to touch. The line-out's not worked out either as well.
But
error upon error, can't do it.
And I feel like it was all a little bit rushed. It was all a bit like, let's just go for a line-out, see what happens, as opposed to, right, we're in the red zone here. We need to score. We need to get in before we get some points before half-time, get in the lead, get on the front foot, take the energy up.
They're back for the penalty. It's definitely Worcester's, isn't it, at the scrum?
Yeah, there's definitely been a momentum shift in this game, hasn't it? It started off being all about Richmond. I felt like they had, more in their toolboxes almost. Feel like they were playing that offload game, a strong defensive game. But Worcester have really worked it out clinically and quickly. I feel like they've been the side that's worked Richmond out pretty quick, and they've executed.
But you were talking about Richmond, they're being a little bit rushed with that penalty at a time when championship minutes, 5 minutes before half time, 5 minutes afterwards. You talk about it, isn't it? Those championship minutes, a little bit rushed. But when you look down Worcester's team list, you've got Lydia Thompson, you've got Laura Keats, you've got Karis Phillips, you've got Charlotte Harris, but all seasoned international. Look down the Richmond list, Abby Chamberlain, certainly, Jess Wooden at fullback, USA international. Some quality players there, but talk about leadership, especially in and around a young squad.
Yeah, no, Johnny, you're right. But also you got the fact that, a lot of the Richmond players went to Harlequins and Harlequin setup, and I feel like they've really had to refine who they are again and rebuild their culture. And they're up against that in the way. They have got a young squad, you're right. They haven't got names on a T-sheet. Do the right names on a team sheet, create the best squad? I don't know, devil's advocate here, but they are missing something. But the things you can get right are your principles, are taking those moments of those opportunities to win those moments, because at the end of the day, that's what's going to put your team in the best position to win that game.
Couldn't agree with you more, yeah. Karen Finley went from Richmond to Harlequins, such as her influence as a coach, rather like Toby Booth in the men's game. London Irish to Bath players wanted to follow their coach, and Richmond were decimated, weren't they? Were hardly put a side together.
Whereas, Worcester are a very young team, but they've had some of these youngsters in the squad now for Worcester have been around a few years.
3 years, yeah.
So, the skill set we're starting to see now is what you want to probably see 2 to 3 years ago. But they've been building, and it's always towards that bigger picture. We always want to perform now, and the eye of rugby outside of it will always see the now, but they won't always see that bigger picture of where those players have been on that journey that they've been on.
And Birdfield, the club captain, has taken the line out, and look at this drive from Richmond. Sensational stuff. There are capos in there. Richmond have taken it in, rather like we had at the other end of the field. She's given the penalty as Latoya Mason. 5 metres out. No, she's given a penalty for that. There's possibly a question that could have been a penalty try. Now Abby Chamberlain will go into that corner, and it will be 5 metres out. Just to go back on your last point, I couldn't agree with you more, Richard. A beginning of a completely new journey. I totally understand that. And they are building and building slowly, absolutely.
And you know this as well, Johnny. In terms of the women's game, the female game, it's not on par with the men. It's still growing. It's going to that next level, and it's getting more and more exposure, and you're getting more girls coming through the system and playing the game, and that's what we need to create. And Richmond, Richmond itself has got a great vibe around it. A lot of girls and guys, play around that area. They've got a great club atmosphere, but it's now just turning that into the performance here. They've shown very quickly how they can get from their 22, opposition 22 to their 22, and their strength is in their pack. They've got the skill set. It's about putting it all together, isn't it, on those particular days?
Yeah, always stay true to the one club attitude of Richmond. 5 sides in action today for the London club. Hats off to them for that attitude. It's been knocked on by them though. Those tiny little mistakes that are costing them at the moment. There's been Libby Povey in there. Just a little knock on. And after the previous line-out drive, you thought may well be a chance right on half-time to get the score.
Yeah, and those little wins, they're little wins to Worcester. So even though Richmond there have made those errors, insiders in a Worcester shirt, you're like, get in, because it goes in your favour. It just gives them that little spout of energy before half-time. But I do believe we could see a game for 2 halves.
The second half does come down to scrummaging. There will be only one side in it. And it will be the home side, Worcester. Very, very powerful yet again from that front eight. Monica Gondwy, 9 caps for England under 20s, the former Beckenham player. Try against Richmond back in October, one against Waterloo as well as Nicholas. Sarah Nicholas, very good communicator. Puts that ball into touch. Now they can breathe again, Worcester, with a 5-point lead in the dying embers of this first half.
Yeah, Worcester actually look like they're enjoying the game, don't they? Look like they're just playing, very instinctively off the cuff. They've got each other's backs. They're just playing what's in front of them. Richmond looks slightly stressed to me, but I'm loving their shirt. It's like a sunset.
Did the Sevens boys had a shirt similar to that?
And so did the Sevens girls. Do you remember it, Nike?
Yeah.
Do you remember it? No. Come on.
Sunrise,
You've got this. You got it. Yeah, well done.
Is that right?
Yeah, you're right. One of my favourite shirts. We won Hong Kong Sevens in that shirt.
Did.
Against a bright lime Australia shirt. I don't know if there's any facts in this, but I truly believe that the shirt that you play in really does make a difference when you're in front of different colours.
Perhaps that's just in Fish World.
I don't know. I might ask a goalkeeper.
Look good, feel good, play good, isn't it?
That's it.
Thompson. Look at the fend. Look at the fend on Lydia Thompson. Just in the air, just ran out of space. Look at the awareness, though, to pick up bottom half of her legs, to pick up her ankles so she didn't go into touch, but she's made some 55, 60 metres. Cox. Karis Cox. Again, just flicks that ball inside. The back three working, Brilliant Lappin. Back inside, and there's the strength, isn't it? There's the strength of Taz Bricknell. Normally a flanker. Harris, 2 tries already. Looked it's slightly high from Abby Chamberlain. Another penalty going to Worcester. But I like the way both these sides, we saw it about 5, 6, 7 minutes ago, getting their key strike runners into the game as Worcester take it on, and Karis Phillips was there on hand, as you would expect the Welsh international to be. Their numbers are lining up outside, they just need to get it out there. Double knock on, and they can't get it out there, and that was a gilt-edged chance for the home side just before half-time.
I've warmed up. That excitement has warmed me up, Johnny. That was a great break there by Lydia Thompson. Just shows with the ball in hand, she's unstoppable. She's absolutely an amazing player. And then great vision to keep it in. Shame they couldn't then finish. The defence kind of, came on them pretty hard, and yeah, it was pretty good though.
There's so much action in that first half, really has been. It was the outside, those bright shirts to start 2020 with the first score, but then it's been all Worcester, and the half-time score here at Sixways is Worcester Warriors Women 12, Richmond Women 7. Now we can look back at some of those first half highlights. As we said, it was Worcester who started with an absolute bang.
Yeah, for me, just Worcester didn't look switched on. It's almost like they didn't expect Richmond just to run at them, and there's that missed tackle. They were in the right spaces. It was a great line taken there by second row. Maybe that's what needed to get their backs back up. Who knows?
Yeah, it was McIntosh with that excellent angle, and then it was all Worcester, wasn't it? They came straight back. Sinead Harris with the score. Sarah Nicholas had missed the penalty, but it was great strength from Sinead Harris. He had great awareness just to stretch out and get the score. The version was missed by Nicholas again.
And here, just a great line by the Worcester number 8. She saw that defence open up, drifted straight off her. You cannot let a powerful runner like her just, you've got to stay square and honest with her. You have to, otherwise, she will step and she will go through. And it's a great finish. And she is determined to get to that line.
see what it meant to her as well. She crossed the line, really powerful step, just can't afford to give her that kind of space. And there was Richmond with an attempt. They'd had a couple of forays, hadn't they, close to the Worcester line, didn't come to anything, and then right at the end of that first 40 minutes, a gilt-edged chance. They just couldn't get the ball through the hands, Worcester, to get a third try, and therefore the half-time score did remain 12 points to 7. Who will be the happier in the change rooms at half-time?
Worcester, definitely Worcester. You know, for me, they finished on a high. The word I was trying to get out earlier is that defence engaged themselves, and to be honest, if it wasn't, you know, for that, they'd take that away from them. They have played superbly so far this half. They didn't start very, strong from the first 2 minutes. It was almost like they were a bit rabbit in the headlights, but then once they picked themselves up, and for a young side to pick their heads up is absolutely key, and they've played really, really well.
And what messages will Mike Padhoe, the Richmond coach, be saying to his players?
I think they've got to be able to stick in the fight. For me, they've lost a little bit of energy. They've got to pick their energy up. They've got to go back to their processes. What works for them is their physicality, their runners. They've got hard lines. Their offload game is phenomenal. They've got to get their players in the ball. At the moment, they don't look hungry enough. They need to up their energies.
We saw 3 great tries in that first half, and there were loads of tries pre-Christmas in the round 10 fixtures. Let's have a look back at those now.
So I was doing athletics for a very long time, since the age of 12, probably when most people were starting to play rugby. I'm doing shot put and discus throw, sort of went to World Championships, European Junior Championships, Commonwealth Youth Games, and then my most recent experience was Commonwealth Games in 2014 in Glasgow. So that was sort of the ultimate for me, and it was the big one. And after 2014, I just sort of started falling out of love with it, and I told myself I was going to retire from sport. I thought I'd just be a normal person. I'd go home after work and sit and watch TV and have some family time and just be normal. But that lasted about 2 weeks, and I just kind of got bored at home just after 2014 when I wanted a bit of a change. I thought it's time now to give rugby a go. And a few years later, here I am. Even watching it on TV, the aggression level and just being able to run into people, and just so many things that you're allowed to do on a rugby pitch that are not acceptable in normal life, to be honest. So no, I sort of enjoyed that bit of it. And when I had a go, I literally just phoned up my local rugby club, Medway Rugby, asked them what days and what time they trained, and went down there for my first session. And I remember one of the activities was sort of handstand push-ups and wrestling, and again just being aggressive. And I thought, this is great, like, this is actively encouraged. So it got me hooked from the first session, to be honest. I had my first game of 15s in the December of 2015, and then I remember having a game in April, and I sort of started to understand the ruck laws and sort of where I can go and rucking over or just going straight through. And for me, that was a sort of a small little clicking point. And I actually remember saying to the coach at the time, I think I get it now. Like, I think I get what I have to do. I'm not constantly giving penalties away, and I think I get it. And he goes, okay, good, we'll carry on getting it. And then it was when I was watching the England Women in the Six Nations match, and it was around my birthday in March. And watching them on the pitch, I thought, I reckon I could do that.
I reckon I could do that. Understatement, isn't it, that? Shauna Brown there, sharing her story in rugby, and what a story it is. The Harlequins flanker / tight head prop. She's been a boxer deep sea commercial diver, firefighter, Commonwealth Games medalist, and now a professional rugby player. Some story. Standing next to a lady who has a wonderful, eclectic story of her own, Heather Fisher. How's this second half going to go, Heather Fisher? Same as the first 40?
I think we're going to see a lot more fight from Worcester. I think they know they're in it, so they're going to come out all guns blazing, even more so. They've got the job they've started the job, they're going to finish it very strongly. I think we're going to see the wingers on the ball a bit more. I think Jo Yap will be kind of, I think she'll want their line-outs go more to plan. In terms of Richmond, I think they kind of need to get their processes right. I don't think they're there in the game yet. I think they've got some great individual players. I don't think they're quite playing as a team just yet, but they have got the potential to make anything happen. They've got a lot of strength, they've got a good depth, they've got physicality, but it's all a bit merged at the moment. So I kind of feel like they will fight. Richmond do come back fighting. They're not a side to lay down and just be like, we're done now. They will keep playing, they will keep fighting. They have pride in their shirt, they have pride in their club, and now want to come out and finish it on a high. I wouldn't be surprised if Richmond came out firing and take the win, but I would quite like to see Worcester have their win against Richmond, if I'm totally honest.
Jo Yap, the director of rugby at Worcester Women, said to us, didn't she, while we were talking to her pre-game, that Worcester never beaten Richmond in the Tyrrells Premier 15. It's only the third season, of course. So it would be a first win for Worcester over Richmond. It would also be fighting for their second victory, only their second victory of the season. Of course, Richmond beating Worcester, Worcester beating Bristol before the turn of the year.
Yeah, and I feel like Worcester really, they've had a hard slug of a few years, Worcester have. They've been working really hard. We see the on-pitch stuff here, but behind the scenes, their S&Cs, their physios, getting Worcester Warriors as a whole club, guys and girls, have really tried to come together, and create a culture for the girls. So it would be really nice to see them start to have some successes on their side, to be honest. And again, like I said, the youngsters have been around for a few years now, and they're starting to play. What we see out there, that you don't coach them with that. That's instinct, and I think they're doing very well.
Well, I apologise, my stats. Of course, Worcester won 2 games already because they've equalled what they did last season, beating Furwood and Waterloo just before Christmas. That 64 points to 19 victory, when they showed very, very similar kind of attacking intent as they have done tonight. So as you say, they finished bottom of the pile the first season of the Tyrrells Premier 15s, 10th last year with only 2 wins, amassing 18 points so far. Well, they came into round 8, didn't they, with 2 wins from the 10 and 10 points. You get a win tonight, 2 tries already, a couple of tries potentially, 15 points. You can only ask, as owners, as chief execs for this club, you can only ask the team to build on year on year on year on.
Totally, it's all about, I feel like the bigger picture of Worcester, they've got great potential as a whole club. So yes, the more they start to perform, I think they know that the more they start to put in, the more they are starting to perform. They've got their, the staff behind the scenes now in place, and they're really starting to come to light, and that's really exciting for the next few years of Worcester Warriors. It is really exciting because they've got the players who will be here now for the next 4, 8, maybe 10 years of their careers if they can get things right. And the women's game is turning professional. It won't be long until we start to see clubs, I think, start players and then start to compete at another level. And this game might just be a game on a Saturday night for some people, but in the bigger picture of women's rugby, this is actually a step up towards that top 6, top 4. Before you know it, you're starting to push those boundaries, and you're always looking to push those boundaries for success.
Well, boundaries do Richmond need to push in this second 40. A word that just springs to mind for me. Certainly plenty of endeavour, accuracy.
I'm thinking about that, Johnny. I'm thinking. No, I think I agree with you. Okay, I'm going to go. You're completely right. Sorry about that. I'm still cold in this little shed of mine. Yeah, you're totally right. Accuracy in terms of line-outs and what they're doing, their decision-making. I really believe when you're 10 metres away from the try line and their line-outs aren't going to plan, they've got real strong runners. Tap it and just play. You know, we somehow get fixated with, oh, we're at 22, we must go for a line out. You haven't got to. It's not working for you. What is working for us? Right, we've got strong runners, we've got a great offload game. Right, let's ship it. Let's get the players in the ball.
Speaking to Mike Panaho, head coach yesterday, saying when he's got these big physical runners, the Lindsay Mayos, the Haley Tualafa on the inside centre, he said, want to play to get those players into the game, and we saw that in the last sort of 5-6 minutes of that first half, when they made that break all the way upfield. Mayo did a good run on that far side as well. Get those players into the game, or they will get you over the game line, and then you can use the power of the Povies and the Burnfield in and around, the Steph Evans in and around the Ruck and Mall areas.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Johnny, but I don't think we're seeing that. For me, you know, Worcester look the fitter side. I don't think Richmond at the moment look like they're getting around the park like they probably have been. They're heavier all round, you know, and I kind of feel that to play that high tempo game in defence like they like to play and attack, they've got to have the fitness that's going to carry them through it, and I feel like they're lagging a little bit. You know, maybe it's the Christmas break, maybe it suited Worcester and didn't suit Richmond, who knows? We will find out.
It's just a little too much turkey.
Too much turkey. I don't like
Christmas. You have lots of turkey.
Lots of turkey. You don't like Christmas pudding, though. No Christmas pudding.
No Christmas pudding.
No.
That wouldn't be good for the Sevens camp, which we've just finished. How was that?
Yeah, that was tough. Had a tough week in training this week. Very tough, actually. I feel like I'm on the cusp. The cusp is okay, isn't it? We were going to fly, we're going to dip, and I'm going to start flying.
Well, there's nowhere else to live, is there? You're right on the edge. You're living life.
Yeah, that's where I don't like taking too much room, Johnny. That's why I live on the edge.
Nice. Good.
Scary though, scary place, but a pretty exciting place, isn't it?
And then off to Hamilton.
Hamilton next Friday this time. Yeah, Hamilton followed by Sydney. I want to go and save a koala. It's really tough, and like you said, thoughts go out to Australia. It's real tough, you know. Here we are standing in the cold, and you just can't believe the other side of the world that's actually happening, can you?
I saw a video on social media. A couple of teenage lads literally driving around, and they posted a video of their car, and they had about 8 or 10 koalas in it. They'd just been driving, picking up these koalas and saving them. Just desperately sad. So you can't pop your hand in your pocket, as some of the Sixways crowd will be doing today. That collection bucket driven by Lucy Lockhart, the Australian, open side for Worcester. Then please do. The Australian Red Cross is probably your first port of call. So here we are then, ready for this second half. See one change out there already.
I would have started, yeah.
Sean Hobday, so she's come on in the front row, but it's stemmed the tide because it was all Worcester at scrum time in that first 40. Second 40 minutes here at Sixways end of this double header. Just 5 points in it, but Richmond haven't troubled the scorer since the second minute of the game. Maria, strong run from her to start this second 40 minutes. And knock on from Worcester.
Knock on by Worcester, but a dominant start by Worcester. You can see the hard lines they're trying to carry. You can hear the comms, just carry hard. And Richmond again, you can see Roe Burnfield just getting onto that ball straight away. She wants that ball back for her team, so I think we're going to see a real heightened in physical presence.
Very much when 20 is on. We've already told you about Sean Hobday in the front row. A little scan through Worcester. There's any replacements. Tualafa trying to get her into the game. The inside centre, Haley Tualafa. No doubt we'll have a few comments. That's not how you pronounce it. It's not how you spell it.
I'm keeping quiet. I'll blame it on your mouth being cold, Johnny.
That is how you pronounce it, because I asked Mike Panaho, the coach, yesterday. In fact, asked Haley herself It was
It's very difficult when you get names that you can't pronounce very well, isn't it?
Tualafa.
Tualafa.
Easy.
So it leads me, you know how?
Yeah, the tricky show is the Stade Francais Fijian centre of the men's game. Waisi Naifalebu Vuijavivalu.
The thing is, you probably haven't even made that up, have you?
No, I haven't. Check it. Cox. That's easy enough. Karis Cox. She can have the ball all day long. Back three is working really well for us, isn't it? That pendulum effect coming to support each other all the time.
Yeah, there's always someone there to support that shoulder and a clear out, which is really good.
Shekels. Here is that Australia. Lucy Lockhart. Nicholas knew she was going to get hit. Sinead Harris powering away. Sinead Harris fend. Another fend. Oh, she's not going to get there. Just taken out of touch by Freya Archer. What another run from the number 8. Thought she was going in for a hat-trick.
Thought she had that. It was a great initial break. Fantastic line. Runs out of steam slightly, but great defence by Richmond coming across. They could have easily let that go, Johnny. You know, but that just shows the heart of the shirt and the passion they're playing for.
She outpaced Jess Wooden there, an international fullback.
It's pretty cool.
Roy Burfield says, right, well, let's just take this line out. Let's just settle things down, and then she... Sure if you can hear it coming over on the rest right, Latoya Mason's mic, but just saying we're going near touch, we're going near touch, need to come back round the other way. That's good play from Richmond, sensible play, these tiny little things that look so easy and obvious on the television. Get yourselves out there and try it. Chamberlain. Here's the lines momentarily. Lydia Thompson. Where's she going? Eddie Butler just shepherded her into Tualafa. Here's Buckman again, scored a couple of nice tries so far this season. 2 against Worcester, in fact. The first 4. Neat player. 13. Former Saracen. Worcester playing with the tempos, not always as accurate as they may like, but the intent and the endeavour is there. Gonwi know what they're trying to do. Getting a bit of structure into the offence. Brilliant offload from Sinead Harris. Is probably only one contender for player of the match at the moment. Nicholas, she's playing really flat now in the second half. Maybe a word from Joe Yap at half time. Get yourself up on that gain line. Lockhart, big dummy. Lockhart, the Australian. How appropriate today. She was the one driving the donations towards Australia. The Australian open side scores one, and it's try number 3 for Worcester.
Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant try. Great to see her under the post there. Just brilliant awareness from the whole team. Like you said, keeping that ball alive. You know, from Lydia Thompson knowing her job, taking it forward, and then the offload game down the side. You know, if there's not space to the left and right of you, look over the head and pop it over the head and keep that ball alive. And then the hands from 9 to 10, and then in the corner. Back inside under the post is a great team try. It's just so good to see Worcester playing. You know, their heart and soul is in it, and everything they're doing is looking so accurate and clinical.
Yes, there's definitely some structure there, absolutely. But there's also a willingness to play some heads-up rugby. There's a gap there. Well, I'll step there. And Nicholas will add the 2. I mean, I've not been coached by Jo yet, not been around in a coaching situation, but I guess she's one of these coaches teaches you all the tools, but it's up to you when you use those tools. Would that be right?
Yeah, totally agree. But you know, a lot of youngsters as well is reading the defence. What defence is in front of you? What are they presenting? What are they showing? And can we dictate that tempo? And for me, Worcester are you know, they're reading the defenders really well. They're not just running a play because they've called a play. They can't communicate it. You know, they're communicating really well in defence, but in terms of attack, they're just playing what they see and now keeping that ball live, which means the people around the ball carriers, you know, are staying active, and like you said, they're helping each other, and there's always someone there for that offload working in threes.
Again here, just changing the point of contact. Megan Varley that time, the 20-year-old, studying criminology at Coventry University. That offload was criminal.
No, Johnny, don't do it.
Boo hiss.
Richmond just need to find a way, Johnny, to get themselves back in this game. You know, they've shown physicality. They've got to tighten up, haven't they?
I think they just could keep the ball for some phases.
But if that was simple, then everyone would do it, right? I don't know. Am I missing something? It's not happening, is it? It's not happening. Worcester, you know, Worcester at the moment are taking charge, and maybe it's, you know, if Worcester haven't beaten Richmond, have they, for a long time? So maybe it's kind of a little bit of a shock to them.
Here's Burgess. Yeah, rank 21. Povic explodes at that pace of that scrub. Nick off Jones. There's Burgess again. Laura Capo standing out wide, and now could update. Boatman. Good angle from Annie Boatman. Trying to get that offload away. That's why we're talking about tightening that ball up. Get to ground. Let your support runners come around.
Yes, but then I would argue that was the right decision. I would argue that their hands are free. You know, it's a good offload, but they're just for me the word disconnect. They just feel disconnected and a bit hectic, and I feel like they're chasing a game as opposed to being in the game. You know, the refs controlling the game really well and allowing it to play, which is really, really working in Worcester's favour at the moment, and probably not so in Richmond's.
There is a long time left in this game. There's over half an hour. Continual clock here, so be particularly accurate with the clock in the top half there. 12 points away. Two scores don't need to be as frantic as they seem at the moment, Richmond. Burgess has a couple of bites to the cherry. Wooden. Just Wooden from the Harlequins, having a very good season, especially with the boot. Lockhart was trying to turn that ball over, the latest try scorer, Laura Capo now. The others have given so much to the club. Toalafa. Wonder what to do. She was in the wide open spaces then. There's Roe Burnfield. Chamberlain. Hobday. Hobday from Worcester University. She scored her first try. Her father was the touch judge. Boatman. Pascal. Sophie Pascal. Haven't seen too much of her. Toalafa. Chamberlain. Where's Abby Chamberlain off to? Not going forward here, Richmond. Another right accident in design, you feel, at the moment.
Yeah, I feel they've kind of put themselves into fatigue quite a lot. There was a missed opportunity on the corner there. You know, there was 3v1 almost of it with a really big corner. They just ate into each of the space. but can they make it happen? You know, good players sometimes make things happen when things aren't going quite right, and can they make that happen?
Back down the short side, Kappa. Bring those front rowers into the game. Bigger runners, it's surely on now, and it is. It's there for Richmond. Lindsay Mayo on the opposite wing has got one back for Richmond, importantly so, and you felt it really was coming.
Yeah, it was coming, to be honest, and Worcester did well staying the game defensively. It was a great finish, you know, at the end by Richmond. You know, well deserved. They're being, 3 minutes of attack there, just trying to find the space. The space was there a lot earlier. I feel like they made it pretty hard work for themselves. But again, like I said, they're not always the perfect pitches, but it's making that happen and putting those points on the board. Worcester almost look like they're holding back in the defensive line, especially in their 22, whereas they could really go up and put that pressure on, stay square and put that pressure on, just to keep Richmond under that pressure. But it was a good finish.
It was a good finish because the ball was behind Lindsay Mayo, good friend of her fellow countryman. Here's another lady from the US of A as well, Jess Wooden, from Atlanta. Almost had an action. It was a fine striker of the ball. Replacements for Worcester now. 17-year-old Jess Wishu comes on the field wearing 19. Sixways, still doing her A-levels.
All right, Dottie, don't give me that look. I'm doing my masters, well, kind of, trying.
They weren't even called A-levels in your day, were they?
I was the B-Tech. Practical approach.
So more area. There's the player to go off for Jess Wishu. Doing some preparation, one of the players. That's how, wasn't it? Born in 2002. It's the age of my 6th decade. Bonkers.
That is bonkers.
Kara Scott's part of this back three has performed really well. Look at that. Look how Roe Birdfield is so strong over the ball. I'd like to see that again.
Yeah, that's one of those decisions where you're like, oh, come on, ref. That's quite clearly she had it, then she rolled through it. What's the player supposed to do?
We will stop because there's an injury. It's far too late in the day to see that.
She's saying, sorry, John, I spoke over there. She's saying that she had it and then she didn't release and then she rolled through.
You've got to make the tackle, haven't you? Then you've got to release the player completely before you compete for the ball. I'd like to see that replay slightly earlier in the piece. As I say, we're just having a pause. It's an injured player on the far side. Can't see who it is at the moment. Might get it here. She doesn't disconnect. I'm with Latoya Mason, the referee.
I'm on the fence here. I'm a player, so.
Because what you would do as a coach is say, make the tackle, almost clap, and then
I would
the ball.
argue she was assistant tackler. Ooh. Anyway, it's happened now. It's happened, and it's Worcester's ball.
And the referee's always right.
Yeah, of course they are. And let's hope it doesn't play in Richmond's head, and let's see if Worcester can play some great rugby off it.
But Rhoda Birdfield is one of those players, isn't she, that builds stuff around. She leads by her actions, and that was one of those where you think, yeah, let's get in behind the club captain. We're not far away in this game, just 7 points.
Yeah, no, Rhoda Birdfield. I've played with her as well, actually, Johnny, in case you ask. But she's a great player. She's a great workhorse. But for me, she just, like you said, she speaks by doing, and she's just a doer, and she gets the graft done, she gets the head down. She has some, calls that have not gone her way before with England selectors and stuff, but it's great to see her still in the game and still playing for Richmond and playing well.
Pascal leaving as her afternoon's work is done. Just looking at Charlotte Harris, the double try scorer. Bump to the head. Gets a tap, doesn't she, Elizabeth Shermer? Saying to her, "You okay? All right." Just had to take a moment there. She's an important player. Sniffing a hat-trick as well. She was pretty close earlier in the piece. Good touch finds from Nicholas. And there's the difference from that kick from Abby Chamberlain in the first half.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. Just good, good accuracy in the kick, yes.
Real intent to go for it as well. Pascal scored a try earlier on for Richmond. Apologies for mixing up the wingers. Drive again from Worcester. Set pieces been a focus over the last couple of months. Now the width. Now to try and get that back three in. Shackles to Lappin.
Oh,
just went through the hands.
Shugglums, great idea. You know, it was great to see that Richmond putting great pressure on. Great pressure by Richmond. Just stumbled by the hands, yes, but great, great work to get it there to space. She'll be frustrated with that, really frustrated. She had a great game so far.
Storr, who's come onto the wing for Sophie Pascal, the try scorer. Charlotte Harris looks like she's okay again. Get back into this game. It's finely balanced, isn't it? Single score between these two.
It literally could go anywhere. I feel like, Richmond, when they play really well and they seem to get the points to the board. When they feel like they need those points, they get those points. But generally speaking, the consistency of the whole game, Worcester are playing well.
And again, we agree. Consistent performance from either of these sides. Caveat. Good strong run at the tail of the line out. Just inviting Worcester's back three though. There's Bricknell. Thought about giving the pass, then did. Just got on the same hymn sheet with Nicholas. To be fair to the half-backs, they have combined pretty well this evening. Taz Bricknell and Sarah Nicholas. Again, not the longest touch finder. It's Pat Metcalf-Jones, the Oxford University player. Played in what, last year's varsity game now. Second appearance and third and final appearance. Brilliant step from Burgess. Up to the 22 now, Burgess. Harris Phillips is tracking back there. Richmond on the attack again. The ebb and flow of this game. There again. And composure now. Richmond, they've been building all season long. Certainly the results column would suggest otherwise. But those inside the camp, those watching the games week in, week out, would know that they've steadily been building. Birdfield, Chamberlain, Wooden, tackled by Lydia Thompson, the World Cup winner. Burgess into Hobday. Just takes it forward another metre. Capo. Caveat. Gondwy is there to meet her for Worcester. Again, they're keeping it tight. Burnfield. Penalty Worcester.
Great turnover there, Johnny. Great turnover. That make a difference in Worcester's heads. You know, on their try line, literally, phase after phase by Richmond.
Right, and I'm going to make my point about the disconnect. If we see that replay again, I'd love to see that tackle again. That replay we've just seen, it'd be amazing. Because watch Lucy Lockhart. She's the one on the right hand side, blonde hair here, bang, the hands go up. It paints the picture for the referee.
Yeah.
Whether you're doing the right thing or not, you've got to paint the picture for the referee, and Lockhart did that superbly there compared to Roe Burnfield earlier on.
Yeah, they're a great example of turning over a ball, like spot on, and lovely for a referee, eh, Johnny? Lovely.
Lovely pictures.
Lovely. Apparently 2020 is year of perfect vision.
Wasn't earlier on. Stop that danger, haven't they, Worcester? Harris hurts for the line out. So it's just like a few more metres. They've now gone back into the 22. They can't go straight to touch here. They don't. They go to Lockhart, who again would be in that conversation, wouldn't she, for player of the match? And they're putting some width on it here. Lydia Thompson was there in support with Karis Cox. Great break from the fullback. Maybe Goddard was trying to come through. Penalty Worcester. Play the advantage.
I would have played the advantage, but you know, referees, they're always right.
They're always right.
There's nothing more to say on that matter.
You're not on the field, you don't have to agree with her. But when you're in Hamilton, the referee's always right. Obviously, when you're on the field, you've got the tequila sunrise on.
The thing is, I would argue the referee, but I don't have the lungs to argue with them. It's difficult, isn't it? Because as a player, you sit here and you think, you know, how much the referees really impact our game. They're such a big influence over our games. And you said earlier about the mindset of a player, and they really do affect our mindsets.
And a short ball from Nicholas to Harris. Look at the meters. Charlotte Harris is gaining. Nicholas coming flat again. It's the Welsh runners. Bracing that time, Karis Phillips, Nicholas. You're controlling the game brilliantly now. Got up. Injected some real power, hasn't she? Megan Goddard. That would 5 caps for the Red Roses. That being a decent player. They're holding on. And Richmond get the penalty. So much endeavour. Step 3, 4 are great for both sides, aren't they? And step 4 at times is just a step too far. Cox here, laughing. Lockhart on her shoulders, decides to just straighten up. Brilliant hands from Lockhart. Having a very strong second half is Lucy Lockhart. Figures a little deeper this time. Goddard knew what she was going to do there. Straight into Hobday. Field is well offside, now there's hands in there as well. Just about to say what a fantastic game Latoya Mason is having, but just a moment of pure scrappiness there. And need to get some control back in. And a Birdfield was coming in at the side. And we come back for the penalty, and there's a Richmond player who's down injured.
Yeah, no, we're 20 minutes now into the second half. If my maths is right, is that 20 minutes? 40, 50, 60. Nearly. We are live, aren't we? But Worcester still look like they're on top. You're looking at me like I'm like some crazy.
Sorry, I was momentarily not listening to you. I say momentarily, that's possibly like no. We're 64 minutes in. Is that the question?
Yeah, no, I was trying to get out my mouth. Okay, if I slow down a little bit, is that we're in the second half. We're like a quarter through the second half, and Worcester still look like they've got a tank full of energy and still playing. Richmond going down a bit, you know, on off. I've just like Richmond put their accuracy right, like put the gas down and keep it on.
Absolutely with you.
Translate.
Next week, providing subtitles. No, absolutely. It's the consistency of level of performance, isn't it? And I think both coaches would say that in the sheds afterwards, irrespective of what the result will be, is we need to keep, as you say, the foot on the pedal for longer periods of time.
That's it. You've strung those words together really well. That's what I wanted to say.
That's what I do. In patches that. It's not a smooth graph, is it, for Richmond especially? It's very spiky in terms of the performance levels. It's more steady, certainly, but it's certainly made for an entertaining game. Fascinating game on the other end of the table. Now they get the penalty. Richmond, look what it means to them. They feel this game is still there for the taking. Brilliant work from Libby Povey, the vice club captain. Just wonder if that angle is quite right to touch. Richmond's fly hard. They have the line out now. Metcalf Jones. Four-player line. Who's in there? Lindsay Mayo. Just don't get the throw right, but they may come out their way anyway because Worcester have knocked it on. Neither Shermer just couldn't take it. The eyes lit up, didn't it? Oh, we've won the line out.
Yeah, I don't really believe in luck, but I kind of feel like Richmond didn't have their processes quite right then. But it's worked in their favour. It's put them in the middle of the pitch with a great opportunity to strike.
He may. Really opportunities. There's a mistake. He left it. The knock on.
Yeah, should be frustrated that the back three have been working really well as that plunger and just the attack and helping each other out. So they'll be very frustrated with that because that now puts them in their 22 where they are holding back slightly in defence. So if we can see some great line speed by Worcester, I think Richmond will struggle. But Richmond have got their tails up, as they say, Johnny, and it'd be great to see them do some nice attack. The shed's pretty warm, isn't it, Johnny?
Yeah, heats up well. Perhaps it's the general bonhomie that's going on in here that's warming stuff up. Calling for a big scrum. Both sets of players here.
So these are the moments of the backs like, come on, we're getting cold, and the forwards are like, we need a rest, take another scrum. And then it becomes all about the mind, doesn't it? Because who switches off, who stays on.
And you would well know Heather Fisher the amount of times that you've been right at the top of this game. 15s and 7s, just how much it is about the top 3 inches. Ball is squirted out and it comes the way of Worcester, and sometimes you just get that rub of the green, don't you, when you're at home. Shekels onto Thompson. It's taken by Action. Nicholas, good pick up, good leg drive as well, just kept those legs pumping. Lockhart, she's in at scrum half now. Oh, they're away here. Brinker, what a run from the second row. It's been a day for second rows chewing up meters, isn't it?
It was a great break. You know, it was great for the back row then just to come in. You know, she saw that a scrum half was taken into the breakdown. You know, she came in to give that pass. It was a great pass, and you know, it's a shame they dropped the ball, but like we said, it's a game of margins, isn't it? And sometimes those fine margins do make the difference in these games.
Changes in the front row. Netherlands. Melling coming on. Keats stays on. The evening's work is done by Anika Godwin and Karis Phillips. Both played well. Richmond will be more than happy to see the lack of Godwin try to score against them back in October. Final 10 minutes or so, 7 points the difference between these two. Scrum has gone round. And you can see Latoya Mason, she's been in that position, hasn't she, as an international World Cup winning scrum half. She's seen those front rowers do that so many times in training, so many times in games. But again, it's Worcester have had the dominance in the scrum all game, and if there's a 50-50, not that I'm saying that was, it's going to go the way of Worcester.
Yeah, you're probably right, to be honest, Johnny. You know, you are at the stage where you start to see things as referees and from the outside, and then they become consistently on the pitch with those habits. But yeah, Worcester have had a dominant scrum all day. Phenomenal to see, to be honest, and it's great them doing well.
Maybe the fact you're appreciating a good scrum.
I don't do it these days, but I do, you know, very rarely.
Put your mind to player of the match, which we will get to in the next break of play. Harris Cox. Nicholas, wide pass out to Laura Keats. Thank her for a load of information she got to me, as did Ellie Bowman. There she is, just a little knock on. People calling for more than a scrum, but I think it was a genuine attempt to get the ball from Ellie Bowman. 4 tries already this season for the Richmond 13. How she would dearly love another one here. Do you have your player of the match, or would you like another moment or two?
There's a few, to be honest, on the Worcester side for me, personally. I think Lydia Thompson's had a good game, all-round world-class player. You know, we talk about this, you know, different levels, but it's expected of her that she plays well, isn't it? Expected. What she does today is just expected. That's a good game for Lydia. I feel like the number 7, the Australian number 7, yeah, has had a great game. I feel like on the number 11 on the ball now, a very young player, has had a really good game. You know, yes, made some errors, but not been afraid to keep trying. And sometimes it's not about that. I also feel like Sean Ed, who's on the ball right now, number 8, has really took them forward very well. And I do feel like the control of the number 10. Worcester number 10, yeah, has controlled the game really well. So give me a minute.
Yeah, I was just going to say the question is player of the match, not team of the match. I'll just name everyone.
How many did I name?
only
7 squad.
So
7 squad. Oh crikey! Give me 30 seconds, Johnny.
Next break of play, we're definitely on player of the match from you, Heather Fisher. We're into touch. It's Richmond line out. We are creeping towards that final whistle. When these two met early in the season, of course, 35-8. Richmond won at the Athletic Ground. Stolen line out. Excellent work from Sherman. It's been a thorn on that side of the line out. All in, shot at Harris. Look at the composure. Defenders all over her. Just stops the ball with her foot, otherwise she's going to knock it on. Yes, you would expect that from an international player, but it's still impressive. Lydia Thompson injects some pace into that line. Now it's floated out. Lappin. Thompson there again. Dawn and Burgess think they've changed their shirts around in preparation for this game, so apologies if that has come across. Again, trying to build something. Mary Chamberlain has found some green space. Megan Gunner puts the afterburners on. Shot at Harris. 2-on-1 is Lydia Thompson. Oh no, you're not going to catch Lydia Thompson from there. There it is. Surely the winning try and the bonus point as well. And it's their World Cup winner, Miss Worcester Warrior, Lydia Thompson.
Wow, now where do I go with that? It's great composure by number 8, Sinead, who actually is going to be my player of the match, because you know that was an absolutely superb finish by Lydia Thompson, and I wouldn't expect anything less from Lydia Thompson because she's a world-class player. Every day she puts her shirt on, whether it's England or Worcester. But for me, Sinead, the number 8 for Worcester, has really led, you know, in terms of putting her body on the line at the very start of the match and getting over that try line, getting the points on the board, leading the defensive line, leading well. Whether she's blocking the line or whether she's involved in that offload, you know, that looks really simple. That 2v1, you know, or you know, on the edge, it looks simple, but it's not as simple as it looks when there's pressure on you and you want to give that pass. For me, she's been all over the park and she's led well, and she's done everything that you would ask of a captain. So I think, yeah, I have no choice. I do, and that's who I give it to.
Scored 2 tries, set another one up out of the 4. It's not bad as Nicholas just pushes that ball across the face of the post. She's had an impressive evening, really growing at this club, Sarah Nicholas. Chona Harris just times it brilliantly. Jess Wooden can do nothing about it. And then you have a worldie of a finisher, ball in the right arm, the correct arm as well. She is a joy to watch. An incredible try against France at Sandy Park back in November. If you haven't seen it as well, get on the England Rugby social channels to watch her try of the month of December against Harlequins. An outstanding finish. So now Worcester will go into Saracens here at home. Gloucester heartbreak. That's at the back end of March after the Six Nations break. Then down to Moden Park. Sharks at home as well. Loughborough at home after Bristol away. So they've been away plenty in the first half of the season. Back here at Sixways, where they play all their games. And it's going down the road to another ground. So a fine performance from Worcester. In patches, you'd have to say, to be honest. 24-12. Richmond with a penalty. And they build one final time here.
Yeah, like you said, Johnny, you know, Richmond have had those opportunities. They've had them to hand. You know, I don't think they've been accurate enough. I don't think they've been consistent enough. But they have shown at times when they are on it, they can be on it, and that, you know, they can beat, you know, who's in front of them. But for me, you know, Worcester have just been stand out today, and if it's pretty exciting that they get to play Saracens next. If you know, this is what they can do today.
I thought this today's game after the break would have been a springboard for the rest of the season. I think, again, there's plenty of positives there for Richmond to take. Pretty at times, quite what it possibly should be. But for Worcester, you feel, yeah, this will spur them on to other things. Next up, of course, the champions, the double champions, Saracens.
Yeah, and they're not an easy side. Saracens are a great outfit, aren't they, as we all know, and they've been consistent now for a couple of seasons. But if anyone can take them on, it'll be Worcester.
Hofdane, great offload. They're that close. Richmond, they're over. Great score. And it's the other winger this time, Lindsay Mayo. Pascal score one middle way through this half, and then Lindsay Mayo, who's been playing prop most of the season on the wing, but in those dark areas where she knows so well, goes over.
Yeah, no, it's a good finish here by Richmond. You know, they haven't given up. They've stayed proud to that shirt, and they've not stopped working. So to score in the 80th minute is pretty cool. But for me, it should have come a lot earlier, you know, and they've frustrated me slightly, Johnny, as you can probably tell. If I had a little bit of hair, it would have fallen out a little bit today, you know. But I kind of feel like they've got so much to give, they just haven't shown it here today.
There's loads of talent there. We'll come away with a losing bonus point, though. Won't they here, Richmond? Do we have time for one more play? Yes, says
of course we
Victoria
do,
Mason.
because the ref is always right.
I've done your coaching good today, because I've just drilled that into you, and you're going to take that into the Seventh Circuit now. The ref is always right.
You don't have to teach us players that. We know. They rule, don't they? They rule.
Kick that ball away. 7 points away. If we can put some pressure on the defence. The defensive line has pressed for most of the evening, hasn't it, for Richmond here? But can they steal a line out? You feel they need to do that. There's a big conflap between the Worcester players as to where this ball is going in the line out. There is Sinead Harris, the player of the match. 2 tries and set up the Lydia Thompson try as well. That if they win this line out, I suspect will win the game for them. They take the line out. Burnfield still doing everything she can. Bricknell's got that ball out. Nicholas has put that ball out to touch. And there it is. Worcester have their victory, their 3rd victory of the season. Revenge for October when Richmond beat them, and their first ever Tyrrell's Premier 15s victory over the London club. Worcester have beaten Richmond here 24 points to 17.
Yeah, it's a great finish by Worcester, wasn't it, Johnny? You know, Richmond are going to go back to London not very happy with their performance, but you win some, you lose some, Johnny. You've got to be able to pick yourself back up and go again.
I'll now leave you here in commentary by yourself in the shed as I go down and try and grab some interviews.
And now anything can happen. So we're just going to go through today's highlights for the tries for Richmond Worcester. It's been a great game here at Worcester Barracudas Club at Sixways. You know, we said about a game of 2 halves where Richmond started off pretty strong. The offload game was working really well for them. Worcester still probably a little bit sleepy, not really got off the defensive line. And it's a great offload and under the post. Our second row was away for Richmond. And then Worcester coming back into it. Shauna, the number 8 player of the match, showing just her great strength, her experience and her power of where the line is, you know, and getting Worcester over that line. Great body angle, great height, great leg drive, just pulling that ball back over that line. The second half, end of first half, second half was all about Worcester. You know, Shoned showing some great lines in attack. Richmond slightly drifting off those inside shoulders and showing that inside space, and just heads up rugby, just great instinctiveness, great speed of ball and tempo from the base of the ruck and just through. You know, it looks pretty simple, but under pressure on home soil where you want those points matter, you want to get that win. It was great head down by our player of the match. Throughout the second half, Worcester just showing great composure. You know, we talk about the instinct of playingness, and it felt like they had a structure, but yet they're playing their heads up rugby. They're reading the defenders and just notifying when people are drifting off and the players are drifting off and they're showing those inside spaces. Richmond didn't give up. They kept going. They've got real great physical game, great impact players, and showing the awareness of when to play through, when to stretch it. Wasn't going quite slight to hand sometimes, but then Worcester on the upper hand, showing their pace and power. Missed opportunities though all around the park. You know, our wingers, a couple of missed opportunities, capitalised on that by Richmond. It's a great line out here, great line and great awareness, and then heads up rugby, putting Richmond back on the front. And here, Roe Burnfield, number 4 for Richmond. You know, it just shows on the day it's so tough, but Worcester doing so well just to get over that ball and get those steals. And they talk about those winning those moments. There are small moments on the pitch that make it up. Shone it here and into a great finish here by Lydia Thompson, world-class winger, just finishing it off on the corner. You could say argue what's expected, but these things under pressure are not easy. But just great awareness. Head down, ball on the right side. Down she goes. Approaching the 79th, 80th minute, and Richmond did not give up. Over the line, showing their physicality and just not giving up. Pride in the shirt, pride in where they come from, who they are. Not giving up to get that last try to stop Worcester getting the bonus points. Thank you for listening today to myself and Johnny Hammond. Until next time, we'll see you later. Have a great weekend. I said goodbye too early because Johnny's downstairs. He's about to do some interviews, but I don't know where he is. There he is.
Shone, a really good win to start the year. You've just been together as a team there. What was said?
Basically, you know, obviously we needed the win. The win was very important to us. We're disappointed that we let them in at the end, really, to allow them a bonus point. And basically what was said is that there's more to come from us. I feel like there were certain areas of the performance that was a bit lacking, you know, discipline in some clinical parts of the pitch. So basically we're looking forward to next week now. We're just carrying on improving. Like, I don't think you've seen the best of us yet.
Okay, well, third victory of the campaign. Let's concentrate on the positives. What did you do well today?
I think our ball retention was really good. Obviously we tried to build through the phases. I think our skills were very good. Obviously we were offloading. You know, as a pack of forwards, we concentrated on the scrum and the line-out area, and we think that worked really effectively for us today.
I spoke to Jo Yap this week, and she said that break over Christmas has been really, really good for you. How much influence has Jo Yap had on this side?
Huge. I mean, the culture of the squad has completely changed. The momentum in the team, the squad has completely changed, and you know, she just fills us all with confidence. She tells us to go out there and play. And, you know, she's just given a sense of pride back to the jersey, really. And obviously we were brought in on the 4th of January for a day camp, and you can see that, you know, the girls are reaping the rewards from it. So, you know, she's really bringing a professional aspect to the squad.
Where can Worcester go now, Charlotte?
Who knows? Above and beyond.
Well, Heather Fisher has called you player of the match, so we've got a huge giant, the S&C and the nutritionist won't thank me for it, but there you are, player of the match. Many congratulations, 2 tries and setting another one up. Many congratulations, great start to the year. Thanks so much. So there, Sinead Harris, player of the match. I wonder if we can get Jo. Yep, here is Jo, in fact, Worcester Director of Rugby. Jo, you must be absolutely delighted, possibly not with the whole performance, but certainly with parts of it.
Yeah, I think ultimately we set out to get a win and we got the win, so that's the biggest positive. But we're disappointed in our performance overall. We kind of let ourselves down in certain areas, and we know that we're more capable of what we showed today.
Well, peaks and troughs in today's game. I know you're going to go through it with a fine-tooth comb. What's going to be top of the list come Monday?
Like the breakdown and ball retention. We didn't look after the ball particularly well, and the breakdown, they were able to slow us down, and we couldn't create the quick ball that we wanted to.
Looking at that game, we spoke in the week about what a young side you had. Heather Fisher and I in commentary were talking about today some really big players, international players. You expect to play well, but played really, really well. The likes of Cara Phillips, the likes of Sinead Harris, Lydia Thompson. How important are those guys to this squad?
To have senior players with the sort of experience that they've got is massive. It gives the other girls, those role models to look up to and see how hard they train. So it's really important, and they bring that kind of experience. In games gone by, we'd have gone behind like we did, and we might have crumbled. But actually today, the characters have come back and to get out a win, and that's helped with the experienced players that are on the field. It's
a big day for the club. Double header, live stream, all the rest of it. How proud are you, not just your players, but the entire management, an entire group of Worcester Women?
Massively proud of the whole club. There's so much work goes into this in terms of the double header behind the scenes. So many people are working hard to make sure that we're getting the support and the exposure and the facilities that we are, and the club is really moving forward with that. And days like today are really special, and I think the occasion probably may have got to the girls a little bit, but all credit to Richmond as well, because they came out and put in a performance for 80 minutes and took the game, they really took the game to us as well, so credit to Richmond.
And now just Saracens next. Watch out, hey?
Yeah, obviously Saracens at home. Our home games have been building. We've had 3 good wins at home, which we're really proud of. Saracens next week, obviously top of the table. We know they're going to be tough opposition, but we just need to look and really focus on our performance going into that.
So thanks for your time and congratulations today.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much. Cheers, thank you. Well, Joey up there, a very, very happy director of rugby. And of course, Worcester Warriors Women will be very, very happy with their 3rd victory of the campaign, all here at the home of Sixways. From everybody here, enjoy the rest of your weekend. It's a great win for Worcester.